Hello, I'm Sherry Harlan, program host for Reid Beside You. Today, our guest is Angela Klein, Director of Community Benefit with Reid Health. And welcome to the show, Angela.
Thank you.
I want to ask you, so our audience gets to know you, what's your background and how long have you been with Reid Health?
I've been with Reid Health for 17 years. The last 3 years of that, I've been in the Community Benefit Department. My background is in social work.
Great. So can you tell us, what does Reid Health Community Benefit do?
Community benefit is the term that we use when we're referring to Reid's commitment to giving back to the community. As Reid continues to grow, so does our investment in the communities that we serve. The community benefit contribution has grown each year over the last 5 years. And last year, we actually reported $32 million in community benefit to the IRS.
And so how does that get reported to the IRS?
It gets reported on our taxes. It's the IRS oversees all community benefit activities and interventions for all non-for-profit hospitals.
Okay. And how does Reid Health decide how they're going to use the community benefit funds?
All non-for-profit hospitals are required to do a community health needs assessment every 3 years.
Okay.
From that assessment, then, we identify top needs that we're going to prioritize, and then we set a plan for how we're going to work toward meeting those needs. We just completed our community health needs assessment, our most recent one in 2016. It was really important to us that we get the community's involvement in that plan. So we actually, in addition to the statistical information that we gathered, we also had one-on-one interviews with key stakeholders in the counties that we serve, like the mental health organizations, health departments, and those types of organizations. We also offered a online survey that we asked community members to take part in. We had a really good response for that. We had 769 people that responded to that online survey. We were thrilled with those results. We felt really good about the turnout for that. In addition to that, we also hosted 5 focus groups so that we could get some small group conversation going about health needs in the community and what people were seeing in their counties, just to get a little more feedback.
I just want to reiterate that often being out in the community, people will share with me that they get mail or something from Reid. Often they think it might be a bill, but this is just another example of the things that we do send out regarding the community benefits or patient experience. We really utilize that information. So it's so important that the audience understands that we really do use that information, and it is critical to help run the hospital system.
And once we actually completed that process of that assessment, we called on community members again to help us prioritize of these needs that were identified, what should the top 3 things be that we work on? And the community helped us to determine that. And those 3 are mental health and substance abuse, access to health care, and nutrition, physical activity, and weight. So those are the 3 categories, kind of top things that we're going to be working on over the next 3 years.
Angela, explain to us how the grant program funds are utilized through community benefit.
Yeah, community benefit has a grant program, and it's probably the most well-known of the programs that we support. So the grant program through community benefit is open to any not-for-profit 501c3 organizations that are located in our service area. that are working on programs that are focused on the prioritized needs. So if a not-for-profit 501c3 organization has a program that they want to implement in the community to target substance abuse or mental health or a nutrition education program or something like that, they could apply for a community benefit grant.
And there is a timeline involved
Yes.
in it.
We have 2 grant cycles for the community benefit grants. On our website, it has all the criteria and the different grant cycle dates. We just completed the mental health and substance abuse grant cycle, and we now have open the grant cycle for nutrition, physical activity, and weight, and that closes June 2nd.
So,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
The grant program last year, just to kind of give you an idea of the volume that we've been able to help, last year our grant program provided $450,000 in grant funds to 33 different non-for-profit organizations in our service area.
And if I'm a nonprofit and I was interested in following up, would I go to the Reid website? What would I do?
The best way would be to go to the Reid website under the Community Benefit tab, and that would it kind of lays out the whole grant process. It has the funding cycles, deadlines. It has a whole list of the criteria, kind of what we're looking for. And it also has listing of previous recipients, and so, so you can kind of get a feel for, organizations that have been funded in the past as well.
Okay. And you were saying the Reid service area. Could you explain what the service area entails?
Sure. For the purposes of community benefit, we consider the service area to be the counties of Randolph, Wayne, Henry, Fayette, Franklin, Union, and then in Ohio, Preble County and Darke County. So we consider those 8 counties to be our service area.
Okay. And there's other services that are handled through community benefit. Can you give me an example?
Yeah, there's probably 50 or more programs or initiatives that are supported by community benefit that is separate from the grant program. So I couldn't go through a lot of them, but one that we're particularly proud of is the dental clinic. We identified that there were a lot of individuals in our service area that did not have dental insurance. And because of that, it was a challenge for them to be able to find dental services. Even if they could find a dentist that was able to see them, often they were required to pay cash up front for services that they needed. And that's a challenge, if not impossible, for most people. So we partnered with Mid-America Health, and they provide dental services. And they've actually taken up shop in our urgent care building, Reid Urgent Care.
1501 Chester Boulevard.
And so they meet with, to access the dental clinic, you would set up an appointment, and then you meet with a claim aid representative who would sit down with you to go over whether you might qualify for Medicaid or HIP, and if not, then they would go through the Reid financial assistance to see if you would qualify for help that way, which often results in low cost or free dental services. The dental clinic began in 2014, in July of 2014, and since that started, we've actually served 2,055 people with dental services.
That's
so
amazing.
We're really proud of that.
Right. I remember at one point, I was taking some of the phone calls for that and helping set appointments, and one of the biggest accomplishments and just served such great pride with Reid has been people who had not had dental services in years, some up to 10, 15 years.
And there are
that causes extra health concerns.
And there are also people who maybe have health insurance but don't have dental insurance. So this is a good clinic for them as well.
So we'll have information will be available, and that you'll see that someone can call and schedule an appointment.
Absolutely.
Also, another that's close to my heart, we have a series called Medical Mondays that meets the second Monday of each month.
Yes.
And that is funded through community benefit. And we've been averaging anywhere from 40, sometimes we've had as many as 80 people.
Yes, a really good turnout.
We try to mix health concerns as well as then different community services. Are available, and they come talk to the group, and we meet at Central United Methodist Church. So that's a really great opportunity as we go out into the community. I also just wanted to clarify, often Angela and I work together quite often. I actually do community outreach. Angela is over community benefits.
Yeah.
I like to laugh and say I deal with individual people, mainly trying to get them to sign up for insurance. Angela has the money. So, for lack of better terms, don't call me for money, right? So, and but there are so many great things that the community benefit group does, and it's just been a pleasure to continuously work with Angela, because a lot of the things we do often overlap. And that's really great. And we wanted to thank Angela for coming to visit today and sharing with us about Reid Community Benefit, as well as all the other things that you do in your personal life, and being a mom and a very busy mom. I think that's part of it. And one of the great things when you work at Reid, not only are you working, but we're very active in the community.
Yes.
So we want to thank you, Angela.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
And please take note of the information that you will see. And you can always go to the Reid website to learn more about Reid Community Benefit. Our next guest is Misty Faust-Cofield, and I won't say her title yet because we've had some changes happening in nursing at Reid. And so, Misty, can you give us an update?
Absolutely. It would be my pleasure, Sherry. At Reid, so as you know, Kay, who is our current CNO and Vice
Kay
President.
Cartwright.
Kay Cartwright, our current CNO and Vice President of Continuum of Care. So she governs the nursing practice from the inpatient hospital across the continuum of care to all of our outlying outpatient facilities. Will be retiring this week. Congratulations to Kay. But with the scope of her current role, it has been decided organizationally that they'll be splitting her role into two different parts.
Okay, which leads to, we can talk about your new title, which is Vice President, Chief Nursing Officer for Reid Health.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very humbled by the opportunity.
That's great. And also, we are celebrating, this is National Nurses Week.
Yes, National Nurses
The key
Week.
to every hospital and any type of healthcare facility. We couldn't have anything done without having our wonderful nurses.
I agree. We're the heartbeat of the healthcare system. So.
Definitely. So what is going on with the foundation and our Kind Bar campaign? Here.
Yes, so through the foundation and Justin Burkhart and his team, they're currently doing a phenomenal campaign to award nurses who may have been relevant in a care situation in your life, in your family member's life, or who are even a family member of your own. A way to recognize those individuals for the care and sacrifice they give every day to take care of other people. So anyone who makes a donation in honor of a family member to recognize a nurse, that nurse will receive a Kind Bar to thank them for the service that they provide every day.
That is wonderful. And they have to contact the foundation?
Yes, they can contact Justin Burkhart or any of the foundation members at Reid, and they'd be happy to assist with that program.
Great. One of the things, how has nursing evolved over time
Oh,
during your time. And let me back up. So how long have you been at Reid?
I've been at Reid for about 8.5 years now.
Okay, and how long have you been involved in nursing?
I've been in nursing for about 16 years.
Okay.
So,
You've made some amazing strides.
yes.
So how would you say what's been some of the most noticeable changes?
I think the most notable changes, probably I would say in the past 6 to 8 years, it's with patients involved in their care. It's been care in the hospital, and then once that patient leaves the hospital, essentially they were on their own. But with the transition to a continuum of care and the importance that we need to focus on the patient not only inside the walls of the hospital, but outside in their own environment, care has transitioned from the acute care needs to the logistical needs across the continuum of care that involves patients and their outside relationships with their physicians and other providers, long-term care facilities, extended care facilities, and any aspect of care. We are helping manage that on the nursing side of things.
And have you seen the improvements for us not having people have to return back to the hospital as you follow them home?
Absolutely. So Billy Kester, who will be serving in the capacity alongside myself to do the other half of Kay's job, is the Vice President of Continuum of Care. And she and her team have done a diligent amount of work on improving the quality of life for our patients and keeping them at home to receive care, which is where we all thrive in an environment that we're well aware of.
And the side that you primarily will concentrate on is more of the day-to-day inpatient nursing side.
Yes.
So when someone's admitted to the hospital, then you are in charge of all that staffing function,
That's
correct?
correct. So
Okay.
any nursing that happens from the emergency room entry doors to discharge, and then guiding the professional practice of nursing across the organization.
Great. So how are nurses working in the community, and what's being completed in regards to to introducing students and prospective people to come into the field of nursing?
Sure. So as a nursing leadership team, we're very engaged in connecting with the youth in our community. So we have a lot of outreaches that we do with local high schools, with the universities, to encourage their students to come and intern at the hospital. I think we service 6 to 8 local high schools that come and intern 3 to 4 times a week during the school year to shadow nurses and other healthcare providers to hopefully open up, an area in healthcare that will spike an interest that we could build a lasting relationship with.
If someone was interested in, if I'm a high school student or I'm the parent of a student, what would I do to find out more about these programs?
Sure. One thing that you could do is we are in touch with all the high school local counselors, so please feel free to contact your local counselor at your school or reach out to our innovations department at Reid. We have an entire department that's devoted to the development and growth of local students. And then we also have our Reid Health Camp that we do every year for students who would like to come and just take a one-day journey through different episodes of care in the hospital.
And I'd like to add in about the camp. It's very interesting I've watched in the last several years the days of the camp, and there are little things that people never thought about is making sure you ate, and you're going to work and you're going to be looking around an entire day.
Right.
And people that weren't prepared for that, or there's just so many aspects of being at the hospital that people had no idea that there's so many different avenues that they could follow.
Right, and those are avenues that are not only inside the walls of nursing per se, but we have other great departments that they have an opportunity to work with: pharmacy, therapy, a variety, radiology. They shadow a multitude of areas to gain exposure to see if that's something that they would be interested in long term.
Right. Right. It's been interesting. I know that I've seen them come out. They can be exposed to like the surgery area, or I just want to be around the kids.
Right.
So they would like want to go to mother baby, or going to the pharmacy. So that's always interesting, and it creates such a exciting environment, just full of energy.
Absolutely.
For the hospital employees to see that.
And our team members love to share the knowledge that they've worked so hard to obtain. So the experience that they have is very fulfilling to our team members as well.
Okay. And how do we connect with the impact, the role of nursing within Reid and with the with the community?
Sure. We service a multitude of areas in our community. Not only do we do that from a practice standpoint, but from a volunteer standpoint. We have an outreach that we do of clinics that a lot of our team members volunteer at throughout the community. Not only that, but we have providers that we place in different facilities, be that long-term care, extended care, to help the quality of life of our patients. So nursing has transitioned from being typically, nurses were utilized in an acute care setting at the bedside of a critically ill patient, and that's transitioned out to foster the quality of life that a patient has outside of the walls.
Okay. Another, the whole theme of Nurses Week.
Yes.
Was started because this is the week of Florence Nightingale's birthday.
Yes, so May 12th is Florence Nightingale's birthday. That's Florence Nightingale is known as the mother of nursing and has led many charges that has positioned us where we are today as a nursing profession. And then the theme, we dedicated that to the legacy that Kay Cartwright has left with our organization and the nursing standards that she's bestowed upon us. So that was a tribute to her in this retirement that she's undertaking in a few days.
And I don't want to negate and saying how much we're going to miss Kay.
Absolutely.
She has just brought so many new ideas and just very well respected.
Absolutely.
So we want to say congratulations on your retirement,
Yes.
Kay.
Enjoy your time.
I'll still see her. She's a neighbor. And the other thing is, during Nurses Week,
Yes.
we celebrate a variety of nurses within the hospital.
Absolutely. So actually last night we had the privilege to introduce 10 of our Nursing Excellence recipients. So approximately 100 nurses were nominated by their peer group, which is invaluable when your peers respect what you do as a professional nurse. So we have approximately 700 to 800 nurses that work for the organization, and of those 700 or 800, 100 were nominated, and then we were able to award 10 the Nursing Excellence Award that we did last night in the presence of their family and their support system. So it was incredible.
I'm sure it was a great ceremony.
Yes, it was very meaningful.
And we will be adding some information towards the end of the show that people will be able to see those winners.
Yes,
of
great.
the Nurses Week, and we truly salute those winners.
Absolutely, they work hard.
Well as we also thank their families because they give so much back to the hospital system as well as to our community.
Yes, last night when I had the privilege to meet with the recipients and the families, that was one thing that I did my best to highlight, that they loan those individuals to us, for anywhere from 3 to 5 days a week, and we really appreciate the sacrifice that the families make because we are a 24/7 operation, so that does entail missing holidays, missing special events that happen on weekends to take care of patients.
And also I wanted to recognize both Billy and Misty for their new promotions. We've had so much excitement from other people in the community who are very excited that you two are taking on these leadership roles.
Wonderful.
They are accustomed to seeing both of you have families, and so in addition to having high-level leadership positions in Reid, they're also great moms. Then people see them in the community. So we are really looking forward to what you're going to lead us to in the next years.
Great. Thank you, Sherry.
So we want to thank Misty and congratulate you and Billy, as well as all our nursing winners, and for everything they do to within our community and service area. And happy Nurses Week.